The psychology of people who never check their bank account. You know someone who does this. Maybe it's you. The notification comes in. The banking app sits there, unopened. The statement arrives, gets ignored. Not because they don't care about money. Actually, it's the opposite. They care so much it physically hurts to look. So they don't. And somehow, not knowing feels safer than knowing. And today we're breaking down exactly why. Because what's happening inside that brain is far more complex, far more human, and far more common than anyone talks about. Here's the thing. Avoidance isn't laziness, it's a coping strategy. When your brain predicts that checking your balance will cause emotional pain, it does what it was designed to do. It steers you away from the threat. Psychologists call this experiential avoidance, the deliberate steering away from thoughts, feelings, or information that might trigger discomfort. And here's the part nobody tells you. It works. In the short term, not checking genuinely reduces anxiety. The problem is what it costs you in the long term. But here's something wild. Research from the Financial Health Network found that people who avoid checking their finances report higher levels of financial anxiety overall, not lower. The avoidance isn't relieving the fear. It's feeding it. Because your brain, left without information, doesn't assume everything is fine. It assumes the worst. Every unopened statement becomes a potential catastrophe in your imagination. And imagined catastrophes, it turns out, are almost always worse than real ones. Let's go deeper. For a lot of people, this isn't just about money, it's about identity. Checking the account means confronting a number. And that number to their brain isn't just a financial figure, it's a verdict, a reflection of worth, discipline, intelligence, adulthood. If the number is bad, the brain doesn't just file it as financial data. It files it as personal failure. And personal failure is one of the most painful experiences the human brain can process. So of course you don't look. Looking feels like standing in front of a mirror you've been avoiding your entire life. And here's the kicker. This pattern almost always starts in childhood. If money in your house was a source of stress, shame, or conflict. If adults went quiet when bills arrived, if lights got cut off, if the word overdraft carried real weight, your nervous system learned something very early. Money information equals danger. And a nervous system that learned this lesson will spend decades finding increasingly sophisticated ways to not receive that information. Avoidance isn't irrational, it's loyal. It's the child in you still trying to stay safe. But wait, it gets darker. Financial avoidance is one of the most expensive psychological habits a person can have. And almost nobody counts the actual cost. Overdraft fees accumulate unseen. Direct debits quietly drain accounts that were never topped up. Subscriptions run for months on services long forgotten. A 2022 study found that financially avoidant individuals pay on average significantly more in penalty fees and interest charges than those who monitor their accounts regularly. The thing you're avoiding to protect yourself is the exact thing that's making everything worse. Now here's what's fascinating though. The moment people start facing their finances, even just once a week, even for 2 minutes, anxiety levels measurably drop. Not immediately, but within weeks. Because the brain's threat response isn't triggered by bad news, it's triggered by uncertainty. And a bad number, it turns out, is far less terrifying to the brain than an unknown one. Reality, however uncomfortable, gives your nervous system something to work with. Imagination gives it nothing but space to spiral. So if you're someone who hasn't opened that app in weeks, you're not irresponsible. You're not careless. Your brain is doing exactly what it learned to do. Protect you from pain using the only tool it had. But here's the truth. The number in that account, whatever it is survivable. The not knowing isn't. You don't need a perfect balance. You just need to look. Hit subscribe if this explains something you couldn't explain before. And if you want to understand why some people manage to stay completely calm about money no matter what their account says, and what their brain is actually doing differently, that video is next. Click it.